This episode of Movie Night is brought to you by Netflix. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at netflix.com/jogwheel. This is Movie Night! Hello and welcome to Movie Night, YouTube's most viewed movie review show. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Tonight we'll be reviewing 3 brand new films currently playing in theaters, beginning with 42. This biographical sports drama by director Brian Helgeland was released on April 12, 2013 and already grossed back its $40 million budget, breaking the opening weekend record for a baseball movie. Sharing the remarkable and real-life story of Major League Baseball's first black ball player, this 128-minute feature follows the rookie year of Jackie Robinson, played brilliantly with subtlety and determination by Chadwick Boseman in his first starring role. Opening with a quick history lesson, we're immediately transported back to a meticulously recreated 1940s-era Brooklyn, from the costumes, music, cars, and dialects. Appearing in his first supporting role since 1988's Working Girl, Harrison Ford delivers his best performance in years, playing the Dodgers general manager, a profit-seeking equal opportunist who gruffly explains to Jackie, "I want a player with the guts not to fight back." Andre Holland, Christopher Maloney, Nicole Barrie, and John C. McGinley as a fast-talking broadcaster round out the supporting cast with immense talent. Filmed with steady and traditional cinematography, the relaxed pace of this story recounts Robinson's struggles against the adversary of racism.
Slaughter hits a hard ground ball right at Reese, who fires it over to Jack at first. Oh my! Robinson is down. Slaughter spiked him high up on the leg, and he is down.
Damn it, Slaughter! You know what you're doing, you spiked my guy!
Get up, Jackie. Get him up, boys. Get him up.
Just stay out. The team doc will be right out. Q, next guy up, you hit him right in the head, all right?
No.
Give me
Give me up.
No, let him stay down.
No, give me up.
Thankfully, Boseman has the temper and patience to endure, especially in an emotional sequence where he breaks down under the enormous pressure. Backed by the triumphant horns of Mark Isham's score, a very enjoyable cat-and-mouse sequence has Boseman stealing his way around the infield during his first minor league appearance. Impressive visual effects seamlessly recreate the famed Ebbets Stadium in downtown Brooklyn, much like the rest of the authentic scenery. Reducing its dramatic effectiveness, the film unfortunately bogs down and repeats itself during the middle. The story behind the only number retired in all of baseball is certainly an important one, representing a turning point during a dark part of American history, one that shares many parallels with today's headlines considering the first possible gay player in professional sports. An educational and entertaining experience for sports fans or otherwise, this biopic is definitely worth seeing once, containing all of the shining moments of a great period piece, but hampered by the pitfalls of your average sports picture. This is an interesting, inspirational, and well-acted movie, but rarely a unique or impressive one. 42. Not quite a home run. Now let's see what you had to say about this picture in the YouTube comments. Our scores for 42 on the Radiomatic, an 8 and a 7. Calling it inspirational and faithful to the real-life story, but a bit unfinished and predictable, you rated this a great. I definitely enjoyed this picture, but a lot of it was kind of forgettable. I thought it was cool. Going from a story that takes place 65 years in the past to one that takes place 65 years in the future, let's now review Oblivion. This Joseph Kosinski science fiction mystery film was released nationwide on April 19, 2013, and quickly recouped its $120 million budget. The second feature from the Tron Legacy director is similarly a visual masterpiece. The imagery of a desolate, war-torn Earth with the remnants of a ruined lunar rock circling in orbit are beautiful and stunning. An intriguing cold open narrated by leading man Tom Cruise introduces us to the year 2077, where mankind attempts to rebuild off-planet, while he and Andrea Riseborough stay behind as the mop-up crew, lamenting on the outcome of a violent alien invasion. We won the war, now we have to leave. The seemingly ageless Cruise is endearing, charming, and entertaining as the last man on Earth, convincingly demonstrating emotional range even in the thickest of action sequences, or when he's questioning his very existence. His on-screen chemistry with Riseborough falls entirely flat though, which although a product of the story itself, made an early lovemaking scene in a floating swimming pool less romantic than it could have been. Without giving much away, the PG-13 dystopian story also features Olga Kurylenko, Morgan Freeman, and Melissa Leo in supporting roles. And although they're all great, I'd be lying if I said their performances were memorable. While Tom surveys oceans of dirt for broken drones and his extremely sleek spaceship, the mood is hopeful and nostalgic, yet it remains consistently haunting.
We have got survivors. There are 4. Check it. 5 survivors. They are human.
The original and atmospheric score by electronic pop band M83 is a loud and ominous one, beating like a heartbeat as our hero outruns a pack of scavengers in a destroyed underground library. As the mystery broods during this 124-minute adventure, many of the major plot twists and reveals aren't very surprising, especially if you've seen Duncan Jones's Moon, a sci-fi picture I reviewed here on Movie Night with an extremely similar setup. As fascinating as it is, the story here really is the weakest component, overshadowed by marvelous effects and thrilling action sequences, particularly a flying drone chase through a rocky canyon littered with waterfalls. Famous New York landmarks are visited, but their state of decay after 60 years seems curiously uneven from place to place. MetLife Stadium is all but gone, but the telescopes on the Empire State Building are in pristine shape. And why does Tom's fancy Sky Mansion have 3 chairs at the dining room table? Plot holes aside, this is a slow-paced experience that blends inspiration from Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Independence Day, 2001, and the aforementioned Moon, resulting in a fun and attractive picture that isn't nearly as intelligent as it set out to be. Oblivion. Beautiful visuals, but rarely engaging. Now let's check out what you had to say in the YouTube comments. Our scores for Oblivion, 2 7s. Mixed opinions here, and many faulted the plot for being dull, complicated, and familiar, while unanimous praise was given to the breathtaking visuals, ranking the movie a cool. While the music and effects were top caliber, it's a shame the story puttered along with unoriginal elements. I thought it was cool as well. Tom Cruise has had a very prolific 30-year film career, so for tonight's poll question, what's your favorite movie he's done? Top Gun, Risky Business, The Firm, A Few Good Men, Mission Impossible Minority Report? Leave your response as a comment below. Lastly tonight, let's discuss Pain and Gain. Amazingly based on a true story, this Michael Bay action dark comedy crime film was released on April 26, 2013, and at a cost of $25 million is Bay's cheapest feature since his debut effort Bad Boys in 1995. Playing a gang of muscle-bound gym rats eager to move up in the world by kidnapping Tony Shalhoub's poor character, Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne Johnson, and Anthony Mackie star as bumbling idiot knuckleheads, whose reach far exceeds their grasp. Wahlberg's acting ability is notoriously inconsistent. He's pitch perfect in this film, though, playing a personal trainer in Miami, turned ambitious criminal, declaring in an early voiceover, "The way you prove yourself is to better yourself." Meanwhile, Johnson delivers a supremely entertaining role as a born-again softie struggling with a cocaine addiction. It's a huge departure from his normally action-centric roles, and he absolutely kills it.
Go, 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 go! Get him, get him, get him!
What the hell?
Get him! Frick. Where is he?
He was right here. Where'd he go? You see him?
Where the hell is he?
There he is.
You got the wrong BMW?
It's 2 exact BMWs.
I told you to check the license
It
plate.
was an honest mistake.
So we thought it was the same car. It looked exactly the same. I can deal with his impotence. I cannot deal with your incompetence.
Mackie continues to make a name for himself as well, bouncing from sadistic criminal to caring husband effortlessly in his supporting role. Shalhoub, Rebel Wilson, Rob Corddry, and Ed Harris are similarly memorable in their smaller roles, each bringing to life very specific and decently developed identities. The story, set in 1995, is told via Bay's trademark fast and flashy style, meshing together dolly moves, jerky handheld, Dutch angles, wide shots, oversaturated colors, slow motion, and extreme close-ups with almost reckless abandon. Although this otherwise quickly paced picture loses a great deal of its urgency and tension for the middle hour, a sequence where the trio hastily attempts to cover up a crime scene with an impromptu trip to Home Depot is morbidly fun, playing out like a twisted adaptation of The Three Stooges. The movie is backed by a generic score from Steve Jalbalski that wisely incorporates some classic rock staples. Indeed, some of the film's best scenes, like when Johnson is literally grilling a pair of severed hands on a portable grill while the Rolling Stones blares, plays out like a poor man's version of Goodfellas or Scarface. If Tony Montana was a steroid-popping idiot, anyway. Lined with a sick sense of humor, the R-rated movie uses everything from testicles, oversized dildos, and breast milk for punchlines, which helps maintain a light mood despite the violent subject material. Cross-cutting multiple narrations between the complex characters, it's difficult to identify a clear-cut hero or villain in this story. But despite his law-breaking practices, audiences shouldn't have any issue rooting for Wahlberg to outrun the police in the end. As many twists and turns as this film takes, however, it's impossible to fault it for being unrealistic or familiar, and I certainly wouldn't mind watching it again. Pain and Gain. Dark, unique, fascinating, and funny. Now for my score on the Rate-O-Matic. An 8. Over the years, Michael Bay has gained a reputation for crafting content to appease the lowest and sometimes dumbest common denominator. And while aspects of that hold true here, this is a surprisingly fresh and entertaining picture with plenty of laughs and excitement. If you're a fan of his other films, you'll definitely enjoy this one. And if you're not, this wouldn't be a bad place to start. I thought it was great. Finally tonight, let's see what else is currently playing in theaters with some of your tweet critiques. If you see a new movie in theaters, tweet your review with the JPMN hashtag if it featured on the show. Next week, in honor of Star Wars Day, also known as May 4th, I'll finally give a thorough and proper review of that entire saga. And since we've already covered The Phantom Menace, this seems like the perfect opportunity to watch the films in the so-called machete order. You start with A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, preserving the introduction to and the splendor of the originals, as well as all of their plot twists. Then we watch Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith as a sort of two-film flashback, which when watched after the originals, ensures the jump to computer effects isn't as jarring. Finally, we finish our movie marathon with its proper conclusion, Return of the Jedi. The Machete Order is an interesting viewing experiment that maintains the magic of the series in the best possible order. But I encourage you to check out the link below and read up on the analytical theories behind why this concept actually works. Star Wars is an all-time favorite of mine, so I'm really looking forward to this special, but it doesn't work without your input, so please let me know what you think about these films by voting in the polls below or by leaving a comment review. And please remember to check out the Movie Night Archive for my exclusive trailer commentaries and an organized library of all our past reviews. Once again, my name is Jonathan Paula. Thank you for watching Movie Night. I hope to see you right back here next Friday.